Guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? If you are new, my name is Lizzie. You're welcome to my channel. So today I bring this gist for you guys. Let's dive into it together.
I absolutely love all of the eating the rich TikToks happening right now, but I'm seeing a lot of middle class things being listed. So I have a question. What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced? Because mine is when I heard the mom of this family say, "Oh, I absolutely hate vomit. When my kids threw up on their bed or on their mattress, I just threw out the mattress and bought a whole new one."
I haven't seen anyone talk about this yet, but have you heard of Billionaires Row in London? Because if not, you're in for a wild ride. Bishop's Avenue in Hampstead got the name Billionaires Row because the combined value of all the houses on the street is a purported 350 million. But the best part is, most of these mansions are completely falling apart and are abandoned by their owners. Some of these properties have been abandoned since the 80s, and as you can see, are just completely in disrepair. So why have these mansions been left to rot and decay? Because of insane wealth. People bought them and then left them behind when they weren't convenient or the place to live anymore. And they don't care that they are losing their value and they're sitting there vacant. They don't need the money. And that is insane rich person behavior.
My dad is one of the richest men in Nigeria. So growing up as a child, different world leaders used to have meetings with my dad in our house. One day I met Barack Obama in my living room and he asked me if I knew he was going to become the next president of the United States. I just laughed and ran back to my room. He was still a senator then. My house in Nigeria has a massive helipad and every member of the family has a private helicopter there. Every girl I dated in high school had to sign a prenup just in case we got married by accident. I have never been on public transport in my life and that's something I would want to do at least once in my life. One day, my dad saw a homeless man with a lottery ticket and he paid him the maximum amount as if he had won the lottery. My dad said he was just trying to teach us kindness. My brother once stated,
I am so glad that you asked. During the summer going into my sophomore year of college, I was struggling for money. I was working an unpaid internship Monday through Friday, so I was broke. One day that summer, a family friend asked if I wanted to take on a catering job. She said it paid well, I just had to serve food and drinks, like what could go wrong? I didn't get much explanation after that, except that I needed to send her a headshot because the host of the party was the CEO of a hedge fund and wanted all of the servers to be good looking. I got accepted and then drove to a beach in the Hamptons looking like this, where I had to set up table settings that looked like this on a beach in 100-degree weather. I had to set this shit up in my work uniform because the host didn't want poorly dressed people setting up her shit. I sweat through everything I was wearing and then had to serve these people. I walked around this exact party trying to serve people food, but they were all on diets. 12 hours later, no one said thank you and the pay was shit.
I lived in Saudi Arabia for a minute and my friend is a prince, right? And he asked me to come over to his house, literally in castle, but it's fine. And I go over and his front yard has like pet cheetahs, pet leopards, all that. And I literally had to be embarrassing and say, I have a cat allergy. Anyways, so I would try to go into his house and he's like, no, that's our parking structure. Literally 4 stories high, but it's okay. And then whenever he would want to meet a famous person, he would just pay them and they would meet him in Dubai. So
my house was so big, I had to tell my dad dinner was ready by using the phone intercom system. And all of those dinners were 3-course meals prepared by a private chef. We had at least like 7 employees in the house at all times, including security guards. And my mom always was terrified that there would be an inside job and I would be kidnapped. When my parents got divorced, I had to live in 4 houses at the same time. And somehow I would get in trouble because I couldn't keep track of all my underwear. One time we took a 30-minute commercial flight from Boston to Nantucket, and my dad hated the commercial flying experience so much, despite the fact that state police officers helped us through it. He had the private plane meet us in Nantucket to bring us back to Boston. I never had to go to the grocery store as a kid. There would be a pad of paper in the kitchen. If I wrote something down, it would disappear the next day. My parents' divorce made the news, calling my mom a gold digger, and the comments were full of men counting down the years until I turned 18. I wasn't allowed to put my last name on social media because people would track me down and kidnap me.
Look like what you'd expect them to. This is my wallet. It is so tattered. There is no luxury brand in sight.
Just by saying I don't want to shit on kids that have no control over how they are raised. However, for the last couple of years, I worked as a summer camp teacher rotating around Seattle. One week I was assigned to a private school in a neighborhood in Medina. Medina is where Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos have houses, so I'm already frothing with class consciousness. One of the activities in Marine Science Camp that week was to take middle schoolers out to the Pacific Ocean to look at tide pools. Co-teacher and I spent a couple hours driving the kids there, and when we get there, oh my god. Jellyfish and sea stars, there was a whale in the ocean. I've never seen a fucking whale before. Not even as a teacher, as a person I'm excited. I'm like, hey, come check this out. What's wrong? Nothing, it's just these beaches don't compare to when my dad took me to Oahu for my birthday. Oh, cool, I've never been to Oahu. You've never been to Oahu? Ugh. Yeah, and you won't be able to go back either, Rianne, once I drop kick you. Snack. Preface by saying I don't want to shit on kids that have no control over how they are raised. However, for the last couple years I worked as a summer camp teacher rotating around Seattle. One week I was assigned to a private school in a neighborhood in Medina. Medina is where Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos have houses, so I'm already frothing with class consciousness. One of the activities in Marine Science Camp that week was to take middle schoolers out to the Pacific Ocean to look at tide pools. Co-teacher and I spent a couple hours driving the kids there, and when we get there, oh my god. Jellyfish and sea stars, there was a whale in the ocean. I've never seen a fucking whale before. Not even as a teacher, as a person I'm excited. I'm like, hey, come check this out. What's wrong? Nothing, it's just these beaches don't compare to when my dad took me to Oahu for my birthday. Oh, cool, I've never been to Oahu. You've never been to Oahu? Ugh. Yeah, and you won't be able to go back either, Rianne, once I drop kick you.
So, it was me, and it was today. They told me guac was extra. I didn't care. I got it anyway.
My god, I gotta tell this story. I accidentally ended up dating someone who was filthy rich. I met him at Caesar's Palace while I was working retail there. I had no idea he was rich. He just seemed like a normal guy to me. He asked me out. On our first date, he dropped over $10,000 on clothes for himself from Louis Vuitton and 3 pairs of shoes from Gucci for me. We dated for like a span of maybe a month and maybe went on 3 dates in that entire time, never hooked up. And in that time, he offered to buy me a car, which I rejected. He offered me $10,000 cash if I quit my job so he could hang out with me one day. I rejected. And then he bought me a house in a gated community in Summerlin. It literally was the only house that was built on a lot. He showed me the inside, handed me a key, and told me I had an unlimited spending limit on furnishing the house for myself and to get whatever I want.
So I'm from Slovenia, so keep that in mind. We don't have like billionaires here. But in primary school, I had a classmate who was quite rich. Like his father was one of the, I don't know how many richest people in Slovenia. Before I start, this story took place in 2nd grade. So one day, another one of our classmates was really excited about getting a new pug. And of course, the first question that guy asked was, how much did he cost? The other guy told him it was like really expensive. It was 1,000 euros. And that little bitch goes like, I could have afforded like 10 of those with my own money. We were in 2nd fucking grade. Also after that, he proceeded to brag about his father's money. He told us his father keeps all his money at home because he doesn't trust banks, and that he started earning less money because he was afraid of getting robbed. Oh yes, and there was another time, or maybe better said, multiple times, and that guy told us that like he doesn't have to try hard in school because his father is gonna bribe the schools.
This is I Nanny for Japanese Millionaires Part 6. So the girl I nanny for is obviously used to nice things, a nice house, nice cars. So when I started working for them and picking her up and taking her to school, she didn't really like my car, obviously. So she tells the mom, like, Mom, I don't like Jake's car. And the mom's like, okay, then tell him to take one of our cars. And they have like a BMW, a Mercedes, an Escalade, a Navigator. And she's like, no, buy a new car for him to pick me up in. And I was like, okay, whatever, choose a car. So the 7-year-old girl is choosing a car for her mom to buy for me to pick her up and take her to school. And I'm just sitting here like manifesting a Tesla. I'm like, please choose a Tesla, please choose a Tesla. Follow me for more story times and to see which car she chooses.
On tour with Post Malone. It was before Beer Bongs and Bentleys came out, and we were going from Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina, and one of the shows got canceled, so we had time to go into the mall and go shopping. So we go in, and there's a store. They have like all these collector's items, whatever, and he buys the entire collection. But there wasn't enough room on the bus, so he had to have them all shipped back to his house, just because he felt like it.
So I started playing ukulele like a week ago, just learning, and I took my ukulele to my friend's house because she has a tuner and she's a very like musical family, and her dad looked at my ukulele and went, this is crap, I'm gonna buy you a new one. And I said, no, don't do that, don't spend money on me. And then her parents get home and go, you said don't buy you one ukulele, so we bought you two. I'm really grateful for it and I love it, but yeah, Thank you, Taya's family.
Many stories about rich people behavior, but here's two of them that immediately came to mind. The first was a woman who came to us while I was working at a window tinting shop and decided that she wanted to tint her luxury sedan. Nothing particularly fancy, but it was a nice car. We weren't allowed to wear shoes or use our own hands to do any of the work. We had to use particularly made special gloves and booties while in her vehicle, and she didn't allow any one of us in the shop to drive her car. This one blows my mind. I was working for a hotel company making reservations at one of their many ritzy locations, and I received a phone call from an assistant to someone who needed to book their Christmas vacation with their family. They needed 5 rooms for 7 days. Now, after telling her the rate for this week-long trip, the assistant didn't bat an eye, took about 2 seconds to think about it, and said, yeah, okay. The prepaid rate? $500,000.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching to the end. If you have not yet subscribed, please just hit that subscribe down below, turn on notification. Anytime I upload a video, you will be notified, and feel free to leave your opinion down. What do you think about this video? Stay blessed.